And we're not talking like Joel Richardson. We're not talking about the fancy lawyer words of the allegations, all right? We're talking about, these are people's testimonies. Joel has put his reputation on the line. Alan Hood has put his reputation on the line. All of these people have come out putting their reputations and their testimonies on the line. Now, these are the advocates. Last point. Buenas tardes, mis amigos. Please support your local food bank, drug and alcohol center. So this podcast just came out an hour ago. And in it, these young people give a fresh perspective. They were involved with IHOP. Shocking revelation of Mr. Joel. We're going to look at that. I actually have some of it. I printed it. We're going to read it. But I was just very impressed by what they said in this podcast. I recommend it to all my viewers. And let's go under there. Street welfare check. All right, so this is the post. We're going to look at it really quick. In this video, at the end of this video, I want to talk about
the natural energy was, what about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? Because the players are there.
Sure.
And I never heard Bob talk about the Chiefs one time ever. Ever, once.
Yeah.
But I have good friends who now, 50 years later...
Yes, you're not doubting that he said that. You're just saying...
I don't know that he said it.
Me.
I never heard it.
Yeah.
So it seemed kind of a natural, cool thing to say. He said, I'm not talking about these guys. I'm talking about many years.
The football prophecy of Bob Jones. We'll do it in the house. Now, Joel Richardson was going to speak at IHOP. This is an update. Pretty amazing job they did. I'll leave a link in the description. Regarding the IHOP scandal, how these types of things tend to unfold is a pattern as old as mankind. The first effort will be to discredit all of the men and women who have come forward, whistleblowers and their advocates. And there's so many things that are coming out now regarding the leadership of IHOP. It's not looking good for Mr. Greaves. Mike will likely make an official mea culpa statement in which he takes responsibility for some issues, and that's what they've done. They've gone on the second statement that there is one allegation with some credibility 26 years ago. That's the statement they put out. So far, Joel Richardson is bang on how they're going to respond. But not nearly all the things for which is actually guilty. This will be enough, however, to elicit tremendous sympathy and support. There will be a friendly or weak investigation. Mike will likely be removed from ministry in a short period, but then reinstated. And that's what Rick Joyner is calling this a nothing burger. He's equating the allegations and people that are stepping, the advocates and the victims of evil spirits, essentially saying this is straight from Satan, which ties into what Mike Bickle said in the sermon. That was my first video. Thank you to people that liked and left comments, because more people see my videos when you click the like button. I had like 6,000 views on that video. And the comments, he's saying, touch not the Lord's anointed, that the dragon and the Satan's accusers, and that he received a prophecy that he is a King David, really is quite amazing. And then he went on to say that he wouldn't respond to any of the accusations of Satan. And it really is quite revealing. We're finding out the truth now. I just got to be quiet. I have friends here sleeping in the tent, and I did a memorial yesterday. I'm a street outreach if you're on my channel. This is my friend Denny. I watched him die. That was on Monday. Yesterday I did the memorial, and a whole bunch of his friends, about 25 of his friends, signed this card for his parents. I'm a Christian outreach worker if you're on my channel. And last point, this young couple, that they have two podcasts that I've listened to that are just really well done. I'm a different generation, all right? And when I was a kid, there was no smartphones, right? The generation we live in today, they use social media as an outlet. And I think that Dr. Michael Brown, in the video I did regarding the idea of deleting and your social media posts and sort of restricting or stifling these people to say what they're feeling, is the wrong way to look at things, because it's a different generation. They grew up on social media. They grew up with these little machines, and I think that I didn't catch that at first, because I grew up in jail. I grew up on the streets. All right, it's a different generation. Everybody looks so young now. I don't know how it happened. I got old really quick. It's amazing how fast life actually goes by. And this young couple do such a great job, profoundly wise, in my opinion, for their age, because they brought up a whole bunch of things that I didn't even think about. And they were part of IHOP as well. And we're not talking, like Joel Richardson, we're not talking about the fancy lawyer words of the allegations, all right? We're talking about, these are people's testimonies. Joel has put his reputation on the line. Alan Hood has put his reputation on the line. All of these people have come out putting their reputations and their testimonies on the line. Now, these are the advocates. These are people that we need to hold the women in tender, loving care, all right? And that's why it's so important to be praying for, first of all, the victims in all of this, but secondly, we have to be praying for the advocates. And it's in these religious movements, it's so hard to speak out against the leadership, especially if you are a victim and, you know, they're doing, we're talking about abuse of people of power. We have to be protecting these people. Done with this video. So God bless this young lady is speaking out. This is a petition signed by the former leaders, and this young lady just spoke out.
So my former boss, he is related to one of the founding members of IHOPKC, and he has told me about the trauma and the abuse, and that was 14 years ago or something. So I stand with the victims and their families, and I hope that there's accountability.
Praise the Lord. More people are standing up. We've already had 2,400, 50 more to reach 2,500. And when I shared this on my social media, somebody sent it to me in email. And at that time, it was the same day, 500 signatures. So I'm asking my viewers to sign up. If you haven't, many of my friends have signed it and have been sharing it. Thank you very much. God bless this young lady. And I also stand with the victims and the advocates that are advocating for these young ladies. And what you're signing is IHOP to invite grace, godly response to abuse in Christian environment. They're professionals. They know how to do a third-party investigation, as well as they provide care. And I was unaware. This just came out 18 hours ago. You can click and read this. And if you don't know who the third parties is, I have identified some of them on social media and posted their testimonies and made videos regarding their testimonies. These aren't just third parties that are claiming. For an example, Joel has posted, I just did this, but forgive me, Alan Hood has posted, he was a director at IHOP for over 20 years. Everyone that I have seen as a third party is in the ministry giving their testimonies of what they know. And they're standing up for the victims. So please join me in prayer. Yesterday I did a video regarding the football prophecy on how he has two different stories depending on who he's talking to. And I think definitely want to include this in here to give you an example of how he can change his story depending on what year it is and who he's talking to. This is IHOP House of Prayer. And we're going to look at this video. And I'm also doing updates as they come in regarding more information. Right now, I want to look back at this video regarding the football player prophecy of Mike Bickle. This is International House of Prayer. We're also going to be looking at this video. It came out 1 year later because he's telling stories that are untrue. He's changing his story. I'm going to show it to you right now. You can go watch these in public domain. You're seeing my whole computer screen. So this is a transcript. If you go up to Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs football players going to our church at that time. And so everybody was talking about the Chiefs because we had so many players. We didn't have any baseball players, but 10 Chiefs. So the natural energy was, what about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? Because the players are there. Sure. And I never heard Bob talk about the Chiefs one time ever. Ever, once.
Yeah.
But I have good friends who now, 50 years later.
Yes, you're not doubting that he said that. You're just saying.
I don't know that he said it.
Me.
I never heard it.
Yeah.
But I got 10 or 15 friends who hung out with Bob in the 80s that are honest. I mean, they're really good people of integrity. Right. And they said, I had direct conversations with him about the Chiefs. I go, cool. I love it. I didn't. And
all right. So in this video, regarding the Bob Jones football prophecy, if you don't know what that is, we'll get into that later. He never received the information directly from Bob regarding the football prophecy. This was come out February 13th, 2020. Can you see that? Now, March 13th, 1 month later, Donald Trump declared a national emergency. 1 year later, he's telling another story. So where are we at here? Let's back this up. We'll play right through and then we'll break it down.
We're doing that. And yes, 2020 started with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, but you know what? No one really cares out there, but we love it in Kansas City. I'll get right to my notes.
But the significance of that was
that's right.
That Bob had a prophecy from the 80s that when the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl and win, it is a signpost of the great harvest.
He did. He said that in the 80s. Bob Jones.
Yeah, he did.
Many of you know his name, a prophetic man. I thought it was kind of absurd. I said, what? Because at the time we had 10 Kansas City Chiefs football players in our church.
Wow.
So it kind of, 10 of them come into our young adult church from the pro football team. So it seemed kind of a natural, cool thing to say. He said, I'm not talking about these guys. I'm talking about many years. Because the National Football Team has been league has gone 100 years, and we've only won it once. And he said, when you win it again, I thought, whatever. And it was 50 years exactly later. We won it the second time, which was January this year.
50 years.
He said, watch what happens across the globe on the year they win. For
Jubilee,
the 90s,
and it was
and
a palindrome, 2020, 2020, however that worked.
02.
It was so many. Not crazy, but unusual things. But for 10 or 20 years, people would ask me, I said, I don't really know, but it happened 50 years exactly.
Wow.
The second time, and it was dramatic and blah, 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 blah. But you know what? We've got so many signs happening in our culture and in the spirit and in the word. That was a fun one and an important one too. But anyway, I'm going to get right into the notes I have here.
Just a little bit louder, Mike, just so I can hear you just a bit clearer. Just bring that thing a bit closer. Thanks.
And coach me too, okay?
So quite clearly we see that he's telling two different stories. He's talking about an intimate conversation that he had with Bob Jones. We'll back this up again. Well, let's listen to it one more time. 1 year previous, he's saying he's never had one single conversation, and now he's intimate knowledge of the conversation, of the prophecy. And in this video, he's reflecting on his thoughts of talking to Bob Jones about the football prophecy.
10 Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs football players going to our church at that time. And so everybody was talking about the Chiefs because we had so many players. We didn't have any baseball players, but 10 Chiefs. So the natural energy was, what about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? Because the players are there. Sure. And I never heard Bob talk about the Chiefs one time ever. Ever, once. Yeah. But I have good friends who now, 50 years later.
Yes, you're not doubting that he said that. You're just saying.
I don't know that he said it.
Me.
I never heard it.
Yeah.
And
so he never heard it not one single time. No, never, ever, ever. Not one single time. Not one single conversation. 1 year later, he's talking about the full conversation and his thoughts while he was talking to Bob Jones about it.
2020, however that worked.
02.
It was so. because at the time we had 10 Kansas City Chiefs football players in our church.
Wow.
So it kind of, 10 of them coming to our young adult church from the pro football team. So it seemed kind of a natural, cool thing to say. He said, I'm not talking about these guys. I'm talking about many years, because the National Football Team has been league has gone 100 years, and we've only won it once. And he said, when you win it again, I thought, whatever. And it was.
So this is a direct communication with Bob Jones regarding his football prophecy of the Kansas City Chiefs. And he's claiming that he's actually talking to Wesley and Stacy about his thoughts. Whatever. Can you see it? And in this video, he doesn't say one single time he's never talked about it. He's talking about his intimate conversation with him.
League has gone 100 years, and we've only won it once. And he said, when you win it again, I thought, whatever. And it was 50 years exactly later. We won it the second time.
All right. And Mike Bickle is a storyteller. He can't get his story straight. And that's why I posted this. And I'll give you an update. So make sure you hit a subscribe button if you haven't checked it. As soon as breaking news comes out, I might be back out right away to let you know what's happening. So may the Lord bless you. Keep you strong in the faith. And always remember, Brother John loves you.